Greetings and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brett and I'm glad you're here for another video. This is video 3 where we're looking at the paperbacks from the 2000 book collection that I picked up a few weeks ago. But before I get into that, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has taken the time to subscribe to my channel, everyone who leaves comments, everyone who's purchased books from the bookstore. All of those things I am really thankful for, so I really appreciate it. But without further ado, I want to hurry up and get into these. Okay, let's not glance over the elephant in the room. Behind me are 2 bookshelves that I picked up. If you remember, if you're not, go back and watch the last video. I picked up 2 bookshelves. I have the 2 white ones that I picked up 2 weeks ago over there. I couldn't do it anymore. I love the bookshelves. I love the idea of picking up bookshelves, but you know, I just couldn't deal with the white. The walls are already white, so it just didn't fit the aesthetic. So I moved them over to another wall and I picked up these 2 that I found on Marketplace. They have lights in them. I think they're super dope. And they have space under the bottom so I can adjust the shelves and put my albums in there. So really dope. I'm up to, I think, 12 bookshelves. So yeah. Without further ado, let's get into the books. And I will be reading your comments at the end of this video, so stick around for that. The first book is Sylvia Press, The Care of Devils. This novel by a former American intelligence officer was originally published in 1958. The early reviews hailed it as one of the most shocking and terrifying books of the year, but then suddenly and mysteriously the book simply disappeared. No more advertising, no more reviews, no more copies in the store. And this extraordinary novel might never have been heard of again if it hadn't been for an article by Malcolm Muggeridge in Esquire 8 years later, raising the question of whether the agency, the CIA, may not have taken a hand in ensuring that Mrs. Press's novel was kept off the bookstands. Muggeridge went on to call The Care for Devils one of the most astonishingly truthful and appealing novels ever written about the world of espionage. With his article, this time bomb of a novel has suddenly exploded into one of the most controversial books of the decade. The next one is The Looking Glass by Virginia Kaufman. Greg McLevore glanced in the mirror before stepping into the elevator. Her reflection glowed back at her, the shining red hair framing the fine features of the wide, luminous eyes. Suddenly she was stunned with sick, paralyzing terror as the face of the man behind her came into slow, agonizing focus. Their eyes met for one lingering moment and he was gone. Was it possible? The chill fear she had believed long buried enveloped her. But then she felt the warmth, the cursed desire that had caused his memory to haunt her life. And in that instant she knew that there was only one way to exorcise the fear that had become a reality. Some nightmares come true. Gotcha. Okay. The next one is, okay. The next one is The Pleasures of Helen. Lauren Sanders' The Pleasures of Helen. She's like tens of thousands of other New York women, and she's the best of the breed. Pretty, bright, thoroughly with it. She yearns for love, settles for sex, drinks a little more than she should, wonders how long her dream of marriage will elude her. She's the fully liberated woman who would gladly trade her PR job, her East Side apartment, her swinging love life for a house with a mortgage and a husband who's all hers. Maybe today she'll meet him on the next bus, the next plane, the next party. The Pleasures of Helen. The next book is by William Katz called Red Heat. Those are a bunch of marathoners. Okay, it says thousands run, millions flee. The Boston Marathon becomes a nuclear race. Some people believe that there are a lot of truths held within the pages of old paperbacks. That's all I'll say on that. A race to end all races. It is the day of the Boston Marathon as runners prepare themselves for the annual contest. Russia readies itself for the ultimate task. for the ultimate risk, the ultimate race, nuclear war, the race to end mankind. Just hours away, a Russian fighter plane disguised as a British commercial airliner inches closer to his target, a top-secret military installation in Boston. Without warning, hundreds of thousands will perish in an instant. The world will be plunged into chaos unless one man who senses something wrong can convince the nation to act before it's too late. Red Heat. Goodbye to Some by Gordon Forbes. Oh my, this is something. This is a plane going straight down. Oh man. A handful of men living beyond the limits of human courage, waiting only for their number to come up, rotation or flaming death. The men of VPB 400 Patrol Bombing Squadron, Kill Hungry, Tommy Pride, who bombs below treetop level, Brady, the squadron coward for whom brave men risk their lives, Iverson, whose cool courage masks a grinding fear. These are the men who fought and sometimes died in the bloodiest war of all. The author, Gordon Forbes, was a Navy bomber pilot in the Pacific during World War II. He sank 9 Japanese ships and won the Distinguished Flying Cross. Oh my. I have to see the date on this. 1961 first printing. That really is, that's something. Okay, this is Whit Masterson. It's called Warning Shot. Warning Shot by Whit Masterson. A man on the run for his life, a suspense novel to startle and shock. Detective Sergeant Tom Valens was a tough man in a tough business, with an unblemished record, a long scar on his gut to prove his integrity, and a beautiful ex-wife to prove his devotion to the force. Then one night he made a cop's worst mistake. He found himself alone, with 10 days to clear his name and save his life. 10 chilling days which led to a gorgeous redhead named Liz. A secret potent enough to blow half of Los Angeles society sky high, and a psychotic killer who would stop at nothing, including triple murder. 1965. Whew. That's a little rough. The Killing Zone, a novel by William Crawford Woods. This book was written for William Riddick Crawford, Lieutenant Colonel of Airborne Infantry, U.S. Army. One day, a young officer came to command. The company had no executive officer. It had been in the charge of its first sergeant during the days since the last commander's death, Captain Hillock, who had died of an attacking heart on the 11th hole of an easy course on a sunny day. The next book is The Killer from Yuma by Louis B. Patton. It's a Western. It's an old Western, too. Let's see what we got here. This is 1964. It's not that old. Berkeley edition, 1964. 40 cents, Berkeley. A Killer's Vengeance. Donna Tate had returned to her ranch one day to find her father dead, hanging from the hoist of his own barn. She knew that Dan Reddick and his sons had did it, but the law said otherwise. Donna could think of only one way to get her revenge. His name was Max Vera. Vera had been betrayed by the Reddicks and sent to prison for 20 years. He was inhuman when he went in, but 10 years in prison had made him a wild beast. Donna Tate paid for Vera's escape and then found out that she had freed more than just a killer from Yuma. Next book I have is by Richard Tregaskis. It's called Last Plane to Shanghai. Their passionate love affair was born in the midst of death, as a great nation fell bleeding to its knees, torn by civil war. It blazed higher and higher in a shell-torn world where the only sin was not to love, the only law, survive. A tender love story against the background of Asian intrigue and adventure. a rattling good tale. Okay. Next book is Here Comes a Hero by Lawrence Block. Here Comes a Hero by Lawrence Block. Amanullah shook both gnarled fists, his ancient eyes raging. But I am an honorable slave trader. I would never knowingly sell a virgin. Tanner said, it seems you have. I shall kill the dog who sold her to me. I've already killed. As soon as I said that, the dog gonna walk over here. I shall kill the dog who sold her to me. I've already killed him, Tanner said. Amanullah was gleeful. Excellent. Then I shall help you find your virgin, and I will buy her back for you at any price. Amanullah kept his vow, and Tanner found his virgin, but there was a catch. She had come to enjoy the raptures of the flesh so immensely and continuously that she could not bear to leave the brothel. She's kicking it. She was the purest of the pure until Tanner found her in one of the Far East's most notorious pleasure palaces. All right. I hope that everyone is doing well. I hope that everyone is enjoying the video. I hope that everyone is enjoying their day, week, month, year. Solomon's Palace by Sam Ross. Joey Solomon wanted to be top man or die trying. He'd figured the odds from the moment he entered the organization. In the bloody fight for control in Chicago, in the move to get a piece of the action in Hollywood, in the invasion and conquest of Las Vegas, Joey made his gambles pay off. For whether making love to America's blonde sex goddess or making war against his rivals, Joey Solomon was always willing to take any step. Even if it might be his last, as long as he knew it would bring him closer to the top. He wanted to be top dog. This book, 70s, I'm guessing. 73. One of a collection. It is by John Cutter. John Cutter sounds like a fake name. The Specialist by John Cutter. It's number 10. Beirut Retaliation. There are 9 more. They're listed on the back. Now I might have to go through to see how many of this collection I actually have from John Cutter. Jack Sullivan, the Specialist, didn't like to work for any government. He'd rather be his own man and do his own thing. But now the U.S. government's goal and his own were the same: to search out and destroy the terrorist army in Beirut that had slain 260 Marines and now was poised for an even more monstrous massacre of America's fighting men. Sullivan handpicked the killing team he took with him. He drove them hard to shape them up until death seemed sweet, until he led them against the masters of murder who wanted his blood just as much as he wanted theirs. Endzone by Don DeLillo. Endzone. It says, is God a football fan? There's a small college somewhere in America, a place where young men gather to study the secrets of the universe, to refine their sexual techniques, to meditate on human folly, and to play hard, belting football. And where they learn that God himself is waiting for the outcome of the season. Dollar. Shakedown by Jonathan Whitney. He beat the computer for $4.5 million, but could he beat the heat? A frightened executive owes the mob $80 grand. Mick Carmody is the mob's collection agent. He's got a better idea. Why Why break the guy's arms for a lousy couple of grand when the same arm can write checks on a giant corporation's computer for millions? And soon, Mick is into the most spectacular scam of his life. A life getting shorter every minute. The clean, hot pages of this book are a lesson in how to tell a cop story. Controlled, but passionate. Frightening, but funny. Every explosion, the ghastly, authentic murders, the burning, bittersweet love scenes, the pre-dawn violence, has the mark of the master journalist on it. Gives us characters to remember, a touch of hyacinth in every garlicky, a touch of hyacinth in every garlicky mafia man, a touch of larceny in every low man. I loved it. That was Les Whitten of the Jack Anderson column. Okay. 2 more books. Oh, wow. Night Extra by William McGivern. Night Extra by William McGivern. Best-selling author of Night of the Juggler, The Big Heat, and Odds Against Tomorrow. Night Extra is the story of one lone reporter, Sam Terrell, uncovering the layers of corruption that threaten to strangle his city. A reform candidate for mayor has been accused of a brutal murder, and Sam is set on proving a frame-up, even at the cost of enormous risk of his own life and that of the girl he loves. Night Extra. Last but not least, The Patrolman, a cop story by Edward F. Droege Jr. Edward F. Droege Jr. made headlines with his testimony about police corruption before the Knapp Commission in New York. Now he's decided to tell the whole blunt, hard-nosed truth about himself and the system that made him and broke him. This is the story of his career from the beginning to the end. It is the story of fighting crimes in the savage ghettos, of collaring hookers on the nighttime streets, of breaking up murdersome family quarrels and risking life and limb in hair-raising chases and gun duels. It is also the story of pocketing money and bending regulations and losing every ideal. And finally is the story of how one cop's undercover activities implicated his fellow officers. If you want to know what it is to be a big city policeman in America today, read this book. Wow. My nose is itching. Okay, so that's it for the paperbacks for today. Let's read a couple of your comments. Okay, Megan Smiley 95 writes, "Wow, what a great find. Seeing that copy of Roadwork in your thumbnail caught my eye. I've managed to snag 2 well-loved copies of the Bachman books while thrifting. Looking forward to watching more of your content." Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I had no idea what Roadwork was until I did a little bit of research. Then I found someone auctioning that book online, so I was very, very pleased that I had it. I was like, I hit the jackpot. I didn't really hit the jackpot, but it is good to have a book that's collectible. It does mean a lot. Thank you for posting that comment. Monica LC 4656 writes, "I must say, now this is the way you do a critique." Talking about Rosemary's Baby book review. "Beautifully done. Some storytelling without spoilers and even some research. I try really hard not to tell the story. You can tell a story without telling a story, which is what I try to do, and I'm glad you recognize that. Well done. You are a masterful storyteller. Do you write?" Yes, I do. I do write. I have a couple of novels, a couple of finished novels, unpublished. Alicia on Demand writes, "Wow, a bookstore. Tell us more." Sounds so cynical, doesn't it? Wow, a bookstore. Like big sloppy deal, a bookstore. I actually know her. definitely Shonda, man. In real life, not on social media. I know her in real life, and I know she's being cynical, but it's fine. Teal Paradox 271 writes, an excellent read compared to ChatGPT garbage used in novels today. Just my opinion. A time when authors actually thought out a plot. Imagination is a wonderful thing. Glad to see your subscriber count moving up nicely. Love again from Bangkok, Thailand. All the way from Thailand. Thank you very much. I appreciate your comment. And you know, ChatGPT, you know, now that you mentioned ChatGPT, it made me think about, and this is no shade against anyone, it makes me think about all of the novels that were probably written ChatGPT AI directed long before it became a thing, before it became such something that we use so publicly now. It makes me think of some of these authors with 15, 20 novels who can belt out a McFadden novel twice a year and think, how do they get time to do so much writing? Goodness gracious. So, not saying that they're ChatGPT. I'm just saying. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. Memphis Jones writes, love seeing your store come together. I am hoping to see if you end up with a copy of Rage by Stephen King as Richard Bachman. I would love that. I sure hope so. Thank you very much. Our Reader 7933. There is a sequel called Son of Rosemary. Yeah, I would love to stumble upon a copy of that. I definitely would. I'm not going to go out and buy a copy, but I would love to stumble upon a copy. Sandy TCF writes, thanks for doing this review. This is not a typical genre for me. On the weekend, I was speaking about books with a friend, and we both acknowledged that we are trying to read books outside of the genres we are used to. Hearing your review, I'm going to put this on my list. Awesome. Great review. I'm intrigued. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your comment, and I did love reading Rosemary's Baby for a lot of reasons. That 60s dialogue, that 60s style is very, very clean, and it's almost, it just feels so minimalist, as if you don't have to try so hard to figure things out because it was just put out there. It's true, in my opinion, is true storytelling back when novels were stories. Now it just seems a little bit different, but I did appreciate it, and I think if you read, you would appreciate it too. It took a minute to get on, but I enjoyed it. Lolly Zor writes, if this is anything like The Tenant by Roland Topper, I'd probably enjoy it. I've never read it, but now you have me interested. Okay, that's it for this video. I want to thank you for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, click the like button. Please share it with a friend. I'm trying to get my subscriber count up. So this is a message for you. If you know a friend who's into books and want to be a part of the book world, book community, join mine. I would appreciate it. I want to thank you for watching this video. Thank you for spending time with me. This is Brett Bonner. I'm Brett Bonner, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. I
aggregate what they can do with the PS team, Paperbacks, and